Hey, what's up, you guys? It's Amp Caboose here, bringing you another gameplay commentary, and I'm joined here with
Amp Reckoner, how's it
Hey,
going?
Amp Reckoner. This is Amp Reckoner, everybody. I'm going to be linking his
Hey.
channel in the description. You should go check him out. He's got some great gameplays, such as like a Minecraft Let's Play, and just some cool series of him playing on the computer. It's pretty cool. It's a lot of fun to watch, and it's really funny. But unfortunately, Amp Reckoner is not the topic of this commentary today. T-
What a shame.
Today's commentary topic is the Amazing Spider-Man movie review. Now, this gameplay is of the game. This is a side mission, a Black Cat side mission. If you saw the first part, this is just a continuation. But yeah, I'm not going to be talking about the gameplay anymore. We're going to be talking about the movie, The Amazing Spider-Man. We've both got to see it, and we want to go really in depth, so that's why I chose a really long gameplay. First thing I wanted to talk about is what do we think of Andrew Garfield compared to Tobey Maguire?
As for me, I absolutely loved Andrew Garfield. To me, he's better than Tobey Maguire. A lot of people probably disagree with that, but I think he kind of nailed the whole teenager kind of punk kid, which is Spider-Man's a young guy, and I think about it actually, Tobey Maguire is kind of like pretty like mature acting in his movies, and I think kind of Andrew Garfield kind of nailed that role a bit better, in my
Exactly.
opinion.
In the first trilogy with the Sam Raimi films, Tobey Maguire was more going into college rather than like he was. It was the type of feel that he was going into college rather than he was still in high school. And with Andrew
hmm
Garfield, you can tell. They're high school kids. They do dumb stuff sometimes. But well, is there any flaws that we want to talk about in this movie? I know
With Andrew
the
Garfield's
the
performance
movie
or
the
the
movie as
movie
a
as a
whole.
whole? Well, there were a few things. I had a few gripes. One of them was how you could hear Spider-Man kind of during the action sequences. You could hear Spider-Man kind of saying things like, "Hey, get out of the way," or like, "I'm gonna get you," like that you could hear Andrew Garfield doing in like a post-production kind of thing. And I thought that was
Yeah,
kind
I
of
hear what you
cheesy,
mean. Such as
kind
like
of took away
yeah,
from
like
the
you
action
don't
a bit.
you can't really tell that it was him talking under the mask. It was more of like he was talking through a microphone type of thing,
Yeah,
right?
it felt like a Saturday morning cartoon instead of like it. Yeah, I didn't like that. But speaking of the action sequences, I thought they were pretty
Yeah,
flippin'
no,
awesome.
definitely. But if
Some of the fight scenes were
yeah,
really
no, it was
exciting.
probably one of the best villain fights besides Raimi's Green Goblin and Spider-Man in the very first one. But if there's any flaws I had to
hmm
say about the movie, it's the lizard's face. Like the lizard in general is pretty cool looking, but like the lizard's face is just so not convincing. It's not intimidating at all. Like it
Yeah.
looks like Voldemort with a green face, you know? Like and it just looks weird. Like
yeah.
at all times, it looks like he's kind of smiling. I wasn't convinced enough that, he was a scary, creepy monster that was gonna kill you.
But on the subject of the lizard, he was a pretty cool
Yeah, I
villain, I'd
mean,
say.
in the Raimi films, and I keep going back to them because I mean, what else can you compare it to? It's a reboot. But in the Raimi films, Kurt Connors was in like practically all three Spider-Man. I don't even know if he was in the first one. I'm not sure if I remember, but he was in the second one and briefly in the third one. And I'm surprised, they barely even mentioned the fact that he was going to be the lizard, like, or like that he wants to get his arm back. But it was really good. The guy who performed as the lizard, Rise Ifan Irfan, I'm not sure what his name is. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but he did really good. Like he seemed desperate for his arm back.
Yeah. And on the other performances, Emma
Yeah,
Stone was really good. She and Andrew Garfield had really good
yeah. They
chemistry. And
they
the cop father was a really
Captain
good character.
Stacy. Yeah, yeah.
Captain Stacy.
I think my favorite scene in the movie is when Andrew Garfield, or should I say Peter Parker, and Captain Stacy are
Peter
sitting on the
Parker.
dinner table, like they're all having dinner, and they just kind of they go back and forth, and like the things that Captain Stacy
Yeah.
says, they're so like, just so perfect for script writing and everything, and just
Mm.
the dialogue between those two actors were really good, and that was like probably my favorite scene in the movie.
Yeah, I was smiling a lot in that scene, just kind of laughing
Yeah,
at the back and forth. It was really
yeah.
well done.
Another thing I kind of wanted to touch on, another thing I kind of wanted to touch on was that they mentioned Norman Osborn a lot in this film, and some things that are
Mhm.
very Easter egg filled as towards him becoming the Green Goblin. Such as
Ooh.
the fact that I I don't want to insult anybody, but the I guess he's the Indian guy. I don't know what to say, but when he
Yeah.
says that Norman Osborn is dying, and he tells Kirk Connors, "You got to save him. You got to finish the serum." So, I guess this is supposed to mean that the serum that supposedly makes Norman Osborn the Green Goblin is is the serum that's being made to save him, because we do see a scene where this guy
Yeah.
takes that serum away from Kirk Connors and says, "I'm shutting it down. I'm taking all your stuff and this and that." And
Yeah, and he got away with that serum, so we can
yeah,
assume
we can
that,
assume that whatever's
he
whatever's
got
gonna
it to him.
happen, it should be explained in the next movie. Which is another thing I wanted to talk about, is that there were a couple things that just really, like a couple things that were high in the plot of the movie, but weren't really answered by the end of the movie, which kind of sort of made me a little bothered. But at the same time, I felt that it's a trilogy. The movie's gonna be
Yeah, we can look forward to the
exactly.
other movies.
And speaking of unanswered questions, Sony has finally took a step forward and actually did an after credit scene for The Amazing Spider-Man. Sorry, I don't think you heard me there, Reckon, or my mic cut out. But Sony has taken the step forward, like I said, to making an after credit scene, and we both got to see it. It was confusing, kind of like what just happened. It kind of just cuts off before you could really get anything flowing through your head. It's just, you know, did you tell Peter Parker about his father? Leave Peter alone. The end. Like, it's just like, what? Is there supposed to be more? I did stay all.
Makes it exciting for
Yeah.
the next films,
No, I
though.
mean, but to touch up on that, I had a lot of people have a couple of their own opinions on who they think this person is, the shadowy figure at the end of the movie talking to Kirk Connors. But who do you think it is? What is your opinion?
Well, I don't know the Spider-Man comics as well as you, but Mysterio, I believe, is.
Uh-huh. Yeah. From what I think, I mean, because of course I do read the comics, and if it were to follow the comics, or not, I mean, not that way, but if if I wanted it to be somebody, I'd say I want it to be Norman Osborn. But the guy the actor for Kirk Connors already announced that it wasn't Norman Osborn in the after the credits scene. He could be lying. You never know. But if we rule out Norman Osborn, I want it to be Mysterio, because you know if you watch the after the credits scene right, you can see that he pretty much just vanishes after he says what he has to say to Kirk Connors.
Yeah, it seems like him because I can't really think of anyone else that could
Yeah,
kind
I
of do
mean,
that.
there's nobody else who's kind of an
He did it.
illusion artist.
It's very mysterious.
Yeah. But if there's anybody else I would want it to be, I would also want it to be maybe. I don't know who else I kind of would have a backup theory on who that could possibly be, but all we know is that Mark Webb, the director of the movie, he pretty much said, this guy is going to play a role, a much bigger role, in fact, in the new movie, or the next one, not the new one. But
Hmm.
one last thing I just kind of wanted to just throw in here was Spider-Man and the Avengers. Do we want to see that?
Personally, I'd kind of wouldn't mind if Spider-Man kind of stayed separate. That's just kind of my take. I kind of like the Spider-Man kind of in his own little world and the comfortable with the Avengers crew as
Yeah.
is.
Like,
What
we've
do
already
you
we've
think?
already got
do you
we've
think
already
would be
got
cool?
Robert Downey Jr. to make the wisecracks, so putting Spider-Man in there would kind of make it a little bit
Yeah.
difficult to hold the crew together.
It seems a bit
But
much.
what I
to
would
me.
want is to have them in the same universe. You know, I would want Spider-Man to be in the same universe as the Avengers. You know, I want those to be two different events. Maybe, you know, you could have the type of thing like in the Ultimate Comics where Nick Fury pretty much tells Spider-Man that as soon as he's 18, he's his property, he's Nick Fury's property. But I don't want that particularly because Spider-Man and the Avengers, it'd be too much. There'd be too much showtime.
They could allude to him. He could make like a brief cameo.
Exactly,
Like they could
exactly.
make it cool. Like he doesn't need to star though.
Yeah,
in
like
the-
I said,
like,
it would be good to have them in the
films.
same universe. I mean, other than that,
Yeah.
other
think
than
that's
that,
the way
like
to
if
go.
you put that many people in a new movie, it's gonna have to be like 3 hours long, and you're gonna have to develop each character again because there's a new member, you know, and it'll just be too much. But they already are making 2 other movies or like 3 other movies of like different characters in the Marvel universe that's gonna tie into the Avengers too. But today is about Spider-Man. So on a last note, do we want to watch this movie? Watch it and buy it on DVD?
I
Yeah?
think it's a must see. I don't know if it's a DVD one, but depends how big
Yeah.
a fan you are. Obviously, I might get it on DVD because
Yeah.
I really like Spider-Man. But it's definitely one to see in the theaters. I think as far as the theater experience, I saw it in 3D, and 3D wasn't very fantastic.
Yeah, I
Did you
saw
see
it in 3D as well. I mean, there were a couple scenes.
It was kind of
Yeah.
unnecessary. I mean,
know,
there were
you-
little
but you
cool
didn't-
things, but
yeah,
it was
you
one of those
didn't
movies
really
where it
need
didn't
it,
really
yeah.
matter. Yeah, but overall, I think it's definitely one you want to go see in
Yeah.
the theaters.
So how
for
much would
sure.
you rate it out of 10?
Am I allowed
Yes.
0.5?
Yes.
I'd give it a
8.5.
8.5 out of
Yeah,
10.
I would
then.
say the exact same
8.5.
thing, an 8.5. Obviously, it's not a 10.
Very good movie.
8.5 for me as well. But the gameplay's wrapping up here. It
Same dude?
glitches at the
Nice.
end, but I kind of edited that out with because I restarted from the last checkpoint and did that over again. But yeah, that's all we got for you today. I hope you enjoyed this commentary. Expect more gameplay like this and more awesome commentaries like this. Dual comms, triple comms, quad comms. Who knows? But
Who knows?
But that's all me and Reckoner have to give to you guys tonight. I hope you enjoyed this once again. Like, favorite, comment, subscribe.
Go check
check
out
it
the
out.
movie.
See you guys later.